Welcome everyone. So this will be a review, the official review for the JadeAudio EA1 from FiiO. Jade is their sub brand. This is pretty much the sister replica of FiiO's FD1 Beryllium-Plated earphone. So this is the EA1, pretty much just I'll just say it's just a cheaper version of the same FD1 but with a different tuning. So now in terms of what it normally comes with, it comes with a very good silver cable, but I exchanged it for another silver cable that had a microphone. I needed that inline mic, so this is the mic. It was really important to me because I actually wanted to test it out to make sure that it's a versatile earphone that I can recommend to people that want an earphone to use as their daily driver. You know, on this channel I have to be honest with anybody because I spend my money to buy these things. No company sent it to me. I get it with my own money, you understand? So I have to make sure I test them out, see whether it meets your needs. Now you'll be wondering, why do I have tapes on it? I will get to why I have tapes on the Jade, and currently I'm doing that for all my dynamic driver earphones. That I'll get to the reason why I'm doing that right now. The thing there is that accessories is decent, but if you notice, I'm not using the ear tips that came with it. This is a wide ball ear tip. There is a reason why I no longer use the ear tips that come with earphones generally. I'm just kind of like stayed with wide ball going forward because I've found out that ear tips that go into my ears give me ear pains, serious ear pains after some days of usage, and I don't know why. It's maybe it has to do with my ears. The thing there is that this FiiO is very comfortable. In terms of comfort, it's very good. Yeah, I don't have any problem with comfort, but the ear tips going into my ears and end up giving me a lot of fatigue over time. So I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. So that's the reason why I now use wide ball ear tips, and it's going to remain that way going forward and for the foreseeable future. Plus, I prefer wide ball. It's very comfortable. It sits on my ears rather than going to my ears. So it's better that way. It still gives me the same sound quality. It's just better for me overall, and it's more comfortable. Now in terms of sound quality, the JadeAudio EA1 is a V-shaped earphone. V-shaped in a good way, in a very good way, but I would, in this instance, I would say it's good for the price that I paid for it. You know, there are some earphones that easily outperform their price range and really go into the crazy high-end territory because of the tuning. The KZ EDX did that for me, but this did not do that for me. This sounded like a $50-70-ish earphone. It didn't really feel like something that should cost more than $50 on its best day, regardless of what source I plugged it into. So now in terms of sound, I said it's V-shaped, but good V-shape. The low end is good but not great. Why I said it's not great is that it is quite unrefined. It's good, it's punchy, but it's flabby. It's really flabby. It's not very controlled, and I've seen people complain of the uncontrolled bass of the FiiO earphones, their FD1, and they didn't like the FD1 didn't have enough bass. People didn't like it because they didn't have enough bass. This has enough bass, but it is uncontrolled. It's just the bass is as uncontrolled as the blonde BLO3. This with the minute I plug this earphone into my ear, just immediately I was like, oh, I'm listening to a blonde BLO3 in another shell. So that is pretty much the sensation I got with this particular earphone. So what I did was, because I've seen this cheat, it's a cheat overall, because I normally shouldn't do a modification on any earphone before reviewing them and giving a recommendation, but I had to do that. So what I did was, and I advise you to do that as well, you can do that with your earphone. So what I did was I got a tape. I got a tape and I sealed up the vents. There are vents on every dynamic driver earphones that are not metal designs. If you have a metal earphone like the Blondes, Urban Fun, HZ Sound earphones, all these other metal, they don't have vents. Hence, their bass is very, very good. These ones that come in these plastic shells have vents, and I'm not really a fan of those vents because what it does is that it lets out, that's in the manufacturing and design of these earphones, they tend to remove unwanted resonance and frequencies that are not cool for the earphones. But this is causing a suck out for this earphone, and I realized that because the bass wasn't very controlled and it was a bit loose, because I used it to watch a movie, I played music, and it was quite loose. So what I did was to seal up that vent, and immediately I did that, immediately the sound came back up, bass was more prominent. Like this is another cheat. If you really want this to become a bass head monster, seal up the vents that are here. Once you seal up that vent with a tape, oh my goodness, this thing rumbles so hard that it really goes into the infrasonic frequency, especially if you're using it for movies with high action scenes, and you are powering with an amp that can dig well below 20 hertz. This will do it for you. So in terms of bass, it is not the best bass that I've heard. It's not a clean sounding bass. It doesn't have speed. The bass is on the slow side, but it's nice for what you pay for. As for me, it's the mids that are pushed back, hence a very smooth sound that you get overall. So the sound is very smooth. It's not fatiguing. It's a very smooth sounding earphone, and it's quite nice because you can listen to it for a very, very long time and not feel the need of changing editors. It has no fatigue whatsoever. But the problem is that the mids are not very detailed. The mids are a bit wonky. The sound, and the way I know the mids are not that good is because I use it to watch movies, and it sounds mushy for voices in movies. There is no sibilance, but it doesn't have that clean texture that the KZ-EDX, that is a quality dynamic driver, has to reproduce voices accurately. So what it's doing is that it's making the voices thick in such a way that they are a bit, I wouldn't say they're unnatural, but almost coming close to being unnatural to what the studio mastered those voices to be. But as I sealed up these vents, it helped a lot. So vocals became a bit better. The bass was tighter and rumbled more. So I started enjoying it. But the Achilles heel of this earphone is the treble. Now we get to the treble. The treble is not very well extended. It just easily reminds me of the Blonde, but the treble for me on this Jade is better than the Blonde BLO3 or the BLO1. So if you like treble, you may not like this earphone. I personally need treble because I watch movies more than music most time. So not just movies but TV shows, and I need it to have treble because with treble it can image very well. And then we get to imaging. The imaging on this is not too great. It is okay. I used this to watch like 6 movies and I wasn't blown away. I wasn't impressed like the KZ-EDX because damn it, like, you know, I can manage an earphone that is average for music, but if you can sound amazing for movies, you've won me over. And this didn't really do it for me in the movie department, even though it had the bass that I was looking for, but because it doesn't have the energy in the treble, it just made the experience a bit mixed for me. I wouldn't say it's not a good earphone. I recommend it, but it's just know that it's a very smooth sounding earphone that if you're not really into smooth sounding, that you need something that is very energetic and bright and can give you detail, this is not going to be for you. If you are a movie buff like I am, this is not going to be for you. You're better off with the best movie earphone that I have ever bought, which is the KZ-EDX. I will get to the comparison between the two once I'm done with this review, but honestly, the Jade is a very fine earphone for the price. Soundstage on this is not too good, but it's just average. It's just really average, but it is what it is. It's a $40 earphone, and it plays well in its price range, and I recommend it. For music lovers that like a lot of bass, and has about $40 to spend on a Beryllium earphone. This is quite good. At least the accessories it comes with is very good. The ear tips are very good, so I recommend it. I really recommend it. Please follow us here on our YouTube channel, subscribe, like our content. I'll see you guys next time.